Today I want to talk about how to properly play in tune on the ocarina. There are two main things that affect the pitch when you're playing this instrument. It's the air pressure that you're supplying into the ocarina, and then the ambient temperature and the environment that you're in. So specifically, if you're in a warmer environment, the ocarina is going to play sharper, and if you're in a colder environment, it's going to play slightly flatter. And you're able to accommodate for this by basically increasing or decreasing your breath pressure for that scenario. When each maker makes their ocarina, they generally are probably taking into account a base ambient temperature for you to play the ocarina in, and that's basically the temperature that they actually tune that instrument in. For me personally, I try to make mine, around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's a pretty middle of the road temperature, probably what you have inside, and so it makes it so that if it's a little bit hotter, a little bit colder, you're probably not going to have to really compensate very much for any changes in pitch. So one of the things that's important to understand is, again, when I was relating back to breath pressure, when you play any note on the ocarina, if you probably can observe that if you play increase your breath pressure or decrease your breath pressure, it's going to make the note sharper or flatter depending on what you're doing. So for this reason, it's important to understand for your ocarina how much breath pressure you need to supply at each finger hole position as you move up the scale. Generally, most ocarinas, you're going to observe that as you go up the scale, you're going to need to supply more air, breath pressure into the instrument. There are some that kind of have what we call a flatter breath curve as opposed to a steeper one, and that's, again, something that's determined by the maker. So let's try and illustrate this. The only way to actually determine if you're playing in proper pitch is if you have a tuner. They make handheld ones that you can probably fit in your pocket, and most musicians carry these around. I actually use one for when I'm actually tuning my ocarinas. You can also use tools on your computer, and I definitely recommend this if you're reading sheet music or playing tablature with accompaniment. You can use this tool as basically a way to see if you are indeed you have proper pitch, and this will improve the quality of the audio that you're producing because you're playing in pitch with the background music. To illustrate what I was talking about earlier, I'm going to use one of my alto C ocarinas. So the first thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to demonstrate how when you're playing, each note has a set breath pressure to be in key in proper pitch. And I'll show that by basically increasing or decreasing my breath pressure, I can make the note sharper and flatter. So to start out, I'm just going to play a G on the ocarina, and observe the ticker on the left there. So we want it to basically say G in the top, G5 up in the top left corner, and we want that line right on 0, which means that I'm on it. And you notice that it wavers a little bit, and that's just due to my slight wavering of my breath pressure. And people who are extremely talented at the ocarina are able to hit that dead on nearly every single time. So I'll play it again, and now I'm going to go sharper by blowing more air pressure, and then flatter by blowing less. And I'll actually see what the extremes of that are, and just note how high or low of a note that we're able to achieve in the top left. So what did we just observe? So I initially started out playing G5, and then I increased my breath pressure pretty much as far as I could go. And we saw that we were able to take that G5 up to A, which is 2 semitones up. And in the same way, by decreasing my breath pressure, I was able to take it, roughly 2 semitones down. As mentioned previously, I think one of the things that can really help you as a player when you're first starting out, or if you have a new ocarina that you're not familiar with, is to put up App Tuner or a digital tuner that you buy online in front of you while you're playing, and look at the the line to make sure that for each of the notes that you're playing, you're hitting the proper pitch. And this will greatly increase the quality of your performances. So I hope this has been helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and see you next time.